Hello everybody, my name's Mr. Green and I'm one of the maths teachers at CFS and I'm very much looking forward to meeting you all next year. At CFS you would do a maths lesson every other day, so that means over a 2-week period you will have 5 lessons. And I thought it might be helpful just to go through one of the lessons that I've been doing with my current Year 7s recently. Today, this is a lesson that was about addition and subtraction. And we were learning to apply the skills that we've learnt to solve some problems, specifically with using frequency trees. Now, my lessons always start with a quick mental warm-up. So there are 5 questions here that you would be expected to have a go at. If you'd like to, you can pause the video now and see how you get on. Okay, so here are the answers to those questions, which would be put up on the board, which means if anybody's had any trouble with any of those, we can go through them as a class. Well done if you got all those correct. So you can see the learning objective in this lesson was to use frequency trees. And we'd start the lesson just with a bit of a group discussion to actually say, what does a frequency tree show? And we'd reached the conclusion that it's kind of like a part-part whole model, isn't it? The whole is 10. It's made of 2 parts, 8 and 2. The 8 plus 2 makes the 10. The 2 plus the 8 makes the 10. We've seen that previously in part-part whole models. But this is actually called a frequency tree in this context. Which then, once we've ascertained that the whole number goes to the left-hand side, we can then work out the missing number, and we might discuss strategies for doing that. Obviously, it's finding the difference between the 36 and the 20, or it's wondering what number we need to add to the 20 to make the 36, and we would get to the answer 16. Perhaps we then look at expanding out the frequency tree. Again, you've got the total number, the total group number at the left-hand side, which is 50. But we've got some more missing numbers there. So how would we do that? Well, using the knowledge we've just learnt, we know that the 20 being one of the parts must go with another 30, because the 20 and 30 therefore make 50. So once we know that that part is 30, that's then broken down into another 2 parts, 10 and something else, which must be 10 and 20. So we've just seen how frequency trees can keep expanding, but it's all the same basis of finding the parts that make the whole. And this then can be applied to a real life situation. If we've got 40 students in an athletics club, how can we find the number of girls? Well, we know 2 things there, although the tree only shows us 1. We know that the total number of students is 40, so that would go in the left-hand side. We know that there are 17 boys, so going right back to that first slide, using our knowledge, we know that the number of girls must be the difference between the total, 40, and the number of boys, 17. And we could work out that the difference is 23, therefore there are 23 girls in the athletics club. Then I might put up on the screen a selection of images which show how frequency trees are used. Difficult to read on here. In the class I would expand that out and we could talk about the different things that that's showing. So having sort of worked together and discussed ideas, I would then set a little bit of group work. So you do this in partners or in a group in your table. And I'll just let you read through this and try and complete the frequency tree. You can see the key information there, which I'll be able to go through with you. There are 200 people running a marathon. 120 were men. 90 of the men finished. And 60 of the women finished. And then in purple, you can see what's being asked of you. I'm asking you to complete the frequency tree, so you need to put all the numbers in the different circles, and then to use the information to answer a question. How many more men than women did not finish? And again, the skill here is about reading the question, really understanding it. So you'd have some time to do that. A 200 would go in the very left-hand side. That's then got to be broken down into men and women. Well, we know that 120 were men, so therefore 80 had to be women. So we've now got 120 and 80, and they now need to be broken down into the finishers and non-finishers. We know that 90 men finished, therefore 30 men did not finish, 60 women finished, and therefore 20 women did not finish. And when all those numbers are put into the frequency tree, you'd then be able to answer the question about how many more men than women did not finish. Okay, so once we've checked our skills and done a few questions like that, we might then have a discussion about why would a frequency tree have more than 2 branches? I've talked about part, whole, and that's a model we've used throughout the lesson. But in this case, there are 3 different branches. Now, why do you think that might be? And then we might come to something like this. You can see that, okay, we've started as usual with the whole sample group, which is 85. That's been broken down into girls and boys, the 47 and 38. But then they go off in 3 branches each. Some people have packed lunch, some would have a school dinner, and then there might be others. And we can apply that both to the boys and the girls. So you can see here why we might need more strands. Okay, it makes it a bit more complicated, but you're still using the same skills. You're still using the part, whole, or in this case, 3 parts to make the whole. When we're happy that we all understand the skills that we've been taught and we know how to apply them, there'll then be a range of questions. And this is individual work now. This is where you would work either on your iPads to record the work or in exercise books. And you can see there's a core there that I would expect the whole class to do. And again, that goes back to one of the simpler examples that we did earlier. There's an extension there as well. And then it's always important to challenge ourselves. And you can see a couple of questions there as well, which is asking you to use what you've learned today to do that. Now, clearly, some people might get through all that as well. And the great thing about it in our maths class, it's small classes. There's only 20 of us in each class. It then gives me a chance to sit down with people individually and push them on further if they want to do. And equally, I understand people work at different paces to support those that need some help as well. Okay, so that's just a brief overview of our maths lessons. I hope that's been of some help. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I look forward to seeing you all in September. Bye now.